When people come over and you're constantly apologizing, I'm sorry, my house is such a mess, something is wrong, because it doesn't have to be that way.
Yes, we've all been there. Either it's us or someone else. You go to their house and they constantly apologize. And it's totally a one-off. Everyone has the one-off time where your house is.
Sure.
We all know those people where we go and we're like, oh, every time I'm here, it's kind of the same thing.
Looks like a bomb went off. Yeah, but you don't want to be the person that your house looks like a bomb went off. For one thing, you have to live in it. You want to live in a place where you're comfortable, where you can kind of feel like, oh, I'm home.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fascinating Womanhood channel. I am Cherry Lynn, and I'm here with Dixie Andelin Forsyth. Hi.
Hi, Cherry.
We feel very inspired by, if you watch our channel, we always talk about femininity and strong relationships, but we hear from a lot of our ladies lately about homemaking. And one of the questions that we constantly hear is how to stay motivated as a homemaker. So we thought this would be a fun subject to talk about today. We have 4 steps today that we want to cover. There's definitely more than 4, but we have 4 steps that we want to cover that mean a lot to us as homemakers that we want to talk with you about today. What are some of the things that we hear ladies say about homemaking?
Oh, well, one I've heard my whole life is, why should I make my bed? It's just going to get messy again. Or the same thing,
yeah.
If you have children, why pick up the toys? It's just 10 minutes from now, it's going to be messy again.
Yeah.
That it's going to be messy again. It's not going to last. Part. We hear that a lot. But what we're really talking about here is not so much beginning homemaking, but to inspire women to go to the next level and to have a more comfortable and better lifestyle. It's accepting flowers instead of weeds. Why put up with weeds when you have a big bouquet of flowers in your life?
Yeah.
Metaphorically, not literally. So the ultimate goal here, if you have your ultimate goal, which is to have a place where you live, whether it's a little tiny apartment, a tent, or a mansion, where you love to go and you feel relaxed when you walk in. It's like, it feels so good to be home, rather than the work that you're staring at, the mess that you're staring at, and how do you stay motivated to keep it up? There's no job that I know of that doesn't have a certain amount of tedium or things that you don't like to do. Mm-hmm. Some people think that, for instance, being an actress would be the ultimate, but they only picture the part that's fun. They don't picture the part of acting where they sit around for hours on the set, hour after hour, until they're called. Some of it is absolutely not glamorous. It's just hard work. And that's true of anything. And I think homemaking has less of that than some things.
I agree. And I do feel for the ladies out there that are not motivated. It's hard. It's actually harder than it looks to stay motivated to keep your house clean, especially if you have kids messing it up all the time. And I know not everyone does, and there's other reasons that you might not be motivated, but I think that's one we commonly hear, is that it's just so hard to keep up with. I'm so glad that we came up with all these great tips, because it will really help you to kind of feel like you got this. You can do this.
You can do this, because some of it is getting in a groove where you feel like, I've got this, I can handle this. Yeah. So these are some tips that can help you to stay in that groove.
Yes.
And then once it's a habit, then it's not hard. So the first thing we have on our list is always have a house project, something. And it can be something very small, like curtains for a window, or some kind of window decor, a new painting for the wall, or a new tablecloth, or a vase of flowers, or something. It can be anything, or it can be painting the room. It can be rearranging a room. Something that is positive, that's motivating, something that will improve your house, your room. And so when you always have a house project, you're a lot more motivated to keep the rest of it good.
Yeah. Yes. And I especially love this tip for the ladies that have a home that they're not, some ladies out there live in a home and they're not proud of it. Or they're not excited to come home, as you were mentioning earlier. And I love this idea because it's more motivating. It says, you know what, maybe I'm not incredibly proud of my home right now, but I am going to take one project at a time that I can afford and then I can realistically do. And I'm just going to focus on that one at a time. So I really love this tip because it really allows you to kind of feel like you can take control and do the best with what you have.
I've lived in I've lived in some pretty humble places, and every time I did, I mean, it was just my personality. I always thought, how can I make this look the best it can? Those places, especially the place we first lived when we were first married, it didn't even have a kitchen. It had a hot plate and a hole in the wall that was the refrigerator. It was up in Canada, so it was cold even in the summer. Mm-hmm. But it was, and the bed came out of the wall. It was pretty. Wow. It was pretty basic. Yeah, and there was no bathroom in it. It was, we had to go into the person's garage where they had a bathroom and a shower, and there were bears up there. So I was kind of nervous. But every place I've ever lived, and especially the more humble, the more challenged to make it look cozy. And cleanliness is absolutely essential. Mm-hmm. You could probably get away with a messier place if you lived in a mansion than you could if you live in a small, humble flat. Well, one of the ideas that I had would be very motivating to me is to occasionally, we put pictures on the wall, stuff like that. We arrange stuff on the wall. Have you ever thought about rearranging things on the wall? Not where you have to put a bunch of new holes in the wall, but you maybe switch pictures around. It can make the room look totally different. Mm-hmm. Just moving things around, like having a painting that's in this room. Now, it'll make it seem like a whole new room. So, yes. And that is a house project too. And try to challenge yourself to not put new holes in the walls. But try to get something that is in a skill set. Like don't try to say, I'm going to paint my kitchen cupboards if you have no skill in painting furniture. You can look at YouTube videos, but I'd start with something small, like a little piece of furniture that you're not going to feel like you've wrecked the whole thing or messed it up. But, roll painting on walls is something anyone can learn to do. And there's all kinds of YouTube videos. You can totally do that. You can rearrange furniture. So all these things are projects that you could do. And that helps to keep you motivated to keep your house clean.
I love to do to refresh a room if I just don't have time because I have small kids. And it's just really hard when you have little kids to make a big change. I really love to change the plants in my house. And I tend to gravitate towards the kind that last a really long time. And I'll just swap out the pots and repot them in different pots and move them to different places. And that to me makes me feel refreshed that I have a new seasonal plant.
Yeah. You're not looking at the same scene every day, and you switch it around a little. Okay. And another thing you can do, the second one is establish a reward system for yourself and try to use it every day. I haven't always talked about it, but I have always done this. And I think you do it too. Like as soon as I finish my exercises, then I'm going to get to do this. Or as soon as I've made the beds, I'm going to treat myself by, I don't know.
My reward actually is exercise.
Your reward is exercise.
If I clean the kitchen, which I don't like doing, I don't know why, I get to have my workout, that kind of thing.
What is your worst room to clean?
Definitely the bathrooms.
I think it is for a lot of people. Or you can say, I get to work on one of my hobbies after I've done this work. I'm going to reward yourself with a new recipe this week. Look for a new recipe. Recipes are very creative. There's thousands of them. And once I get my whatever done, then I'm going to get to make this recipe. But so you reward yourself and you get into the habit of that so that it really isn't that hard. Or after the kids are in bed, I'm going to pamper myself by taking a bubble bath or painting my nails or something like that.
Yeah, and I love that I think it's really important, and you say this all the time, it's really important to try to do this every day if you can.
Every day, because it takes around 3 weeks for a new habit to take hold. So if you do this, and it's really not that hard, it's just that you're not used to it. And the third one is set a standard for yourself in the quality that you want to have. Now, for me, I had 7 kids. Even when they were all still home at the messiest, shall we say, I always had a standard where before I went to bed, I always made sure all the toys were put away, no matter what, and dishes done, because I couldn't stand waking up in the morning and seeing that. Maybe not all during the day, but at night, that was the standard that I always made sure those things are away. And when the kids are little, you can even have that as part of going to bed. Let's put this stuff away, so you don't have to do it all. I'm not going to go to bed with a bunch of dishes in the sink. If you are ill or something, you might have to once in a while.
This one has a lot to do with self-talk, and I think this is a very challenging one for a lot of ladies. They're not probably fully aware of how challenging this is, but it's really important to try to, if you can, write this down somewhere, anywhere, and it will help you to kind of say, okay, I'm doing this. I wrote it down. I'm doing this every day. And like you said, in weeks, you'll start to develop it as a habit.
Well, and try not to say, I have to go from 0 to 60 all at once. Like if it's really hard for you, try saying, I'm going to make my beds every day. Make sure the beds are made every day and the dishes done. Those things. Mm-hmm. Start with something like that and then add to it. Because if you find that you're constantly, when people come over, and they will come over again one day, we won't always be in quarantine. When people come over and you're constantly apologizing, I'm sorry, my house is such a mess, something is wrong, because it doesn't have to be that way.
Yes, we've all been there. Either it's us or someone else. You go to their house and they constantly apologize. And it's totally a one-off. Everyone has the one-off time where your house is dirty. We all know those people where we go and we're like, oh, every time I'm here, it's kind of the same thing.
Looks like a bomb went off. Yeah, but you don't want to be the person that your house looks like a bomb went off. For one thing, you have to live in it. You want to live in a place where you're comfortable, where you can kind of feel like, oh, I'm home. Okay, now the next one, which is the fourth one, is get inspired. And that's a really important one for me. And if it is for me, it will be for you. Or at least most of you. One of the things you can do is walk around your neighborhood, see what other people have done. What have they done with their front walks? They put plants by the front door. Sometimes you can kind of see in and see drapes in the window, or the way they've arranged their dining room table or something. You get inspired. You can look on lights on the outside of your house, those little garden lights. There's all kinds of stuff. On the inside, there's Pinterest boards. I hear so many of you guys and my nieces talk about, I got this idea off Pinterest. Mm-hmm. And you can go on there and get ideas for room decor, for different kinds of window covering, for wall art, for recipes, for everything. It's so great. Now we have so many opportunities. Somebody posted on Facebook yesterday, a friend of mine, an attic that I just couldn't stop staring at. It was so cute. And I thought, oh, I would love that. It was all green. I don't know if you saw it, but they painted the walls a light green, and it had a real steep roof, which makes it really cute. And then they did some murals of flowers, but it was a place where you look like you want to go sit up there and read a book.
I absolutely love it. To me, getting inspired and looking through things like that or magazines is almost like an escape. I'm just going to get out of my house for a second in my mind and get into someone else's. And it really helps you to see your home in a totally different way.
And you might like the attic that I talked about that I saw yesterday. I don't have any rooms like that with the steep pitched roof. But you could take an idea from that and think, how could I use elements of that in something in my house? Like a bathroom, for example, that are small. And you might take some ideas from that and do something. And if you can't paint, you can also use decoupage. You can get inspired with things like that you can do yourself for relatively cheap.
Yeah, I think too, something I stumbled upon, I'll try to attach it if I can find it, is a Homestyle Quiz. You can take quizzes and find out what's my home style and what kind of decor makes me the happiest. And you can take, they're free on the internet, and you can take these quizzes, and it's fun. It helps you to become more connected with not only your style, but your home, your surroundings, the things that you love. Doing that helps me when I go shopping. I say, ooh, I tend to gravitate towards that style.
Everybody has some skill in home decor. It may be more elementary and not as advanced, but that's perfectly fine because it's fun to learn. And there's so many helps with learning step-by-step things. All these things help you be motivated to take better care of your home. And when you do, it's a lot more fun. And if anything is fun, you can do the worst things imaginable if they're made fun. And you're kind of tricking yourself into either just being in the habit of it or making it fun.
Yes, I think once you can really start to adapt these 4 ways, these are just, like I said, there's so many more, but these are our 4 favorite that we talked about. Baby's talking on the calculator.
Oh.
Hello. Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
She at our house, wasn't she talking to the scale?
Talking to the scale downstairs. She goes, hello. Hello. Oh, I think this is really great. I hope everyone watching is feeling a little bit more motivated and inspired to be a little bit more connected with their home and their role as a homemaker, because it really is very fulfilling and very valuable. And staying motivated can be challenging, but it's definitely doable. And
Definitely, yeah.
taking it from the expert here that's done it for so many years and done it so well, I think this has been really great.
By the way, just this morning, Bob and I decided to time how long it takes to make a bed.
Oh.
It took us, now we did it together. We don't always do it together. Sometimes it took 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
He has a timer. Yeah, we timed it. And I figured if I did it myself or if he did it himself, it'd take maybe just over a minute. So make your bed. It's still a big deal.
That's very enlightening. I don't know how long it takes me, but now I'm feeling like I want to time myself to do it. But I do it every day, and I didn't used to. And I'm a huge fan of making the bed every day. And my husband didn't used to do it either. And now if I have a day where I don't do it, I've noticed that he steps in and does it. Yeah. So it is a standard in our house, and it hasn't always been. And I can definitely attest to the whole habit thing, because
when you walk in your bedroom and it's made versus not made, it's a whole different feeling.
That feeling is addicting. I don't want to not have that feeling when I walk in my room. So thank you so much for all of your wonderful advice. And if you have any questions about homemaking, drop them down below. We would love to hear from you. We always try to answer every single question. Anything at all that has to do with motivating yourself as a homemaker, we would love to see your questions down below. And don't forget to check out the description box with the link to our Facebook group, as well as Dixie's book, Dixie's workbook. Everything you need to know about us, where you can find us on social media, is all attached below. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.